bursting out of my body when you were talking because I wanted to say so many things. And
I don't mind those questions.
I've always found that very interesting about Greek mythology, that they are gods, but they're all flawed, and they want revenge.
We're like, oh, now it makes sense.
But how cool you got to see it with two lenses, not one. So you weren't wrong. You just got to see it in a different lens.
I'm speaking into a robot, aren't I?
Table for one can be fun.
Right. I was thinking about forgiveness, and I was like, maybe that's not the way to go.
My key motivator in life is pain. I make the most progress in my life when I'm in pain.
Her artistic longevity is stunning. That's inspiring to me.
My brain is running thousands of miles a minute all the time.
And silence. Thank you for listening to the Last Will podcast. I'm Matt Young. I'm a theater educator and a parent. And ever since I lost my father to cancer, I have been mildly obsessed with death. This is my last will and testament. David Lynch once said, "Intuition is the key to everything. In painting, filmmaking, business, everything. I think you could have an intellectual ability, but if you can sharpen your intuition, which they say is emotion and intellect joining together, then a knowingness occurs." Today's topic, intuition. Let's get into it. Today's episode is brought to you by Pickle Juice.
Are you tired of feeling sluggish and bloated? Looking for a natural way to support your digestive health? Look no further. Introducing Pickle Juice, the ultimate solution for a healthy gut. Picture this, a bustling cityscape, people full of energy and vitality, going about their day with a smile. That's the feeling you'll experience with Pickle Juice. I used to struggle with digestive issues like gas and bloating, but since I started taking Pickle Juice, I feel like a whole new person. I've always been conscious of my health, but I never realized how important gut health was until I tried Pickle Juice. It's been a game changer. Pickle Juice is a powerful blend of scientifically selected pickle strains, carefully formulated to restore balance to your gut. It's like a daily dose of goodness for your digestive system. Since I started taking Pickle Juice, I've noticed a significant improvement in my digestion. No more discomfort or irregularity. I feel more energetic and vibrant since I started taking Pickle Juice. It's incredible how something so simple can make such a big difference. But Pickle Juice doesn't just stop at supporting your digestive health. It also helps to strengthen your immune system, boost nutrient absorption, and promote overall well-being. It's a complete package for a healthier you. I recommend Pickle Juice to all my friends and family. It's a natural solution that truly works. So why wait? Take the first step towards a healthier gut and a happier you. Try Pickle Juice today and experience the difference for yourself. Side effects may include drowsiness, dizziness, nausea, and vomiting, dry mouth, headache, skin rash, and itching, mood changes, burning thoughts of origami and paperweights, cramping, constipation, and leaking. If symptoms persist, please see a doctor.
Thank you. What just happened?
I don't know.
Are you back?
Where did I go?
Somewhere where your eyes were not.
It was really enjoyable watching Grady from across the table.
You couldn't see it. You couldn't see it, but the eyes were spot on.
Yeah.
They were
Wait,
spot
she's
on.
coming through again.
Oh no. Buckle
Maybe
up.
we should get to the thing
Focus.
today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is what again?
Okay. Well, this is what we got. Welcome to the Last Will podcast. We're gonna get rolling now. You know, just did some bits for the paying audience. Today we are welcome.
Hi.
Claire, Grady. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
We are talking today about intuition versus premonition.
Oh.
Am I correct?
Yes.
We were going to talk about joy, and then we found out Joy had a rough time.
Nobody has any joy here. Oh, yeah. Joy did have a rough time.
I actually think I'm going to name my first daughter Joy.
Joy was walking funny yesterday.
JoJo for short.
JoJo?
JoJo's a cool name.
Yeah.
JoJo's a cool name.
Joy. Because, come on. I'd love to have a daughter named Joy. What
Okay,
a beautiful
but
name.
well, that's that's true.
Because of its meaning, I think. Anyway, we could talk about that another time.
I just want, I did name one of my kids Potter, and they refuse to read Harry Potter. So I hope your Joy daughter doesn't refuse to have Joy. Yes.
I'm gonna name my child Cocaine Heroin.
I think that's a great idea.
Oh, that is a good idea because then they won't do it.
Yep.
Ladavius Cocaine.
Ladavius Cocaine?
Mm-hmm.
Ladavius Cocaine.
Just so there's a normal name in front of it.
Right. Intuition. Here's what the definition of intuition
I
is.
forgot to bring my dictionary today.
Oh, my goodness.
Download it.
Intuition refers to the ability to understand or know something instinctively without the need for conscious reasoning or analysis. It is a form of immediate understanding that is often considered to be based on a deep sense of inner knowledge or perception.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Intuition can manifest as a gut feeling, a hunch, or an inner voice that guides decision-making and problem-solving.
Mm-hmm.
It is often associated with a sense of certainty or conviction, even when there is no logical or rational explanation for it. Intuition can be influenced by a person's experience, emotions, and subconscious processes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it can play a valuable role in personal judgment, creativity, and insight. While intuition is a subjective and individual experience, it is recognized and valued in various fields, including psychology, philosophy, and decision-making sciences.
And prostitution.
I just want to say.
That was okay. Fine, I'll gotta give that one to AI.
Right?
It's
Fine.
It's
Fine.
absolutely right because it is
Fine.
a subconscious. Intuition is a gathering of information that you have that your subconscious then puts forward an answer, and then you make a decision.
And I just want to say on a side note, on a sidebar, I thought I read the hell of the.
You read it
that.
beautifully.
Yeah, you did that. You did that very
Something about knowing that I'm dyslexic now makes me read better.
well. You're dyslexic?
Yeah, we didn't discuss that?
Yeah, isn't that
No.
awesome?
Yeah, I just found out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit going on in me these days, and dyslexic is one of them.
Maybe because you know you're dyslexic now, it's helping you read better.
That's what I was just thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was flowing. Like, I understood everything as it was going. I don't think I've ever read that well. So, anyways, yeah.
That was really good. No, it was. There was a lot of power in that.
Thank you. It was like I had read it before, and I didn't. Premonition, the definition of premonition, because we're doing intuition versus premonition.
Mm-hmm.
We thought intuition was good. Here's premonition. Is it different? I don't even know.
Yes, it is.
It's spelled different for sure. A premonition is a perception or feeling that something is going to happen in the future, often with a sense of foreboding or anticipation. There's a strong sense of knowing or sensing an event or outcome before it actually occurs, without any logical or rational explanation. Premonitions can manifest in various ways, such as a vivid dream, strong gut feeling, or a sudden and unexplained sense of unease. They can involve specific details about the event or a general sense of impending change. Premonitions are typically subjective and personal experiences. Premonitions are typically subjective and personal experiences. They can vary in intensity and clarity. While the premonitions are not based on verifiable evidence or logical reasoning, some individuals believe that they can provide insight into the future or serving as a warning. However, the nature and interpretation of premonitions are often debated and remain largely unexplained by scientific understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't read that one as well.
It doesn't matter. I got it.
And I hope the audience did too. Because it was later.
Also, I don't think you didn't read it as well. No. I don't think so.
Didn't flow as well. But it's not about me, is it? It's about intuition versus premonition.
Yeah.
It's not make it about me in my reading. So intuition is about having a feeling about something happening now.
Mm-hmm.
And premonition is maybe about a feeling having
Intuition is
in the future.
Intuition is knowing something.
Mm-hmm.
I feel.
Mm-hmm. I think intuition is within you. Well, premonition.
Intuition is a gathering of all these things that you know that inform a decision. When you say you meet someone, and you have the intuition that like, nah, backing up very slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Is intuition always? Are you always right?
Well, it's your.
Can you have not bad intuition? Like, I have a feeling that this is going to go sour, but like, I had a feeling that this person was really a jerk, and they turned out to be the nicest person ever.
Yeah, I think
but that's just self-protection.
Some people have
but
bad.
I have to say there's what you were about to say.
Intuition can be a form of self-protection just to begin with. And if your intuition is telling you that, you need to listen to it, but you should also be open to the idea that you can be wrong. or could be wrong.
I do think that I've had this feeling before on first dates where I think, ooh, like definitely not, and
Right.
I've had to learn to listen to the intuition instead of like overriding it and been like, no, I'm just going to see how this goes. I'm just going to see how this goes.
Right.
But then I've had the intuition before that has actually been maybe half intuition, like, and then half fear, where it's told me no. And then I've actually tried to get rid of the fear, and see through the fear.
Right.
And
Don't let the fear dictate what.
Right. And then, the intuition, which is like, it's complicated. I can't really think of like a very clear example right now that I can truly remember. But it's intuition, I think, is learning how to listen to your intuition is a skill.
Yeah, for sure. Is it only negative though?
No.
I mean,
No.
Does your intuition go just in search of red flags, or do they search? And it's awful cliche, but in search of green flags too.
I think
Like, I have a good intuition about this. This is going to be great. And
I think good intuition is less obvious because
For sure.
it's so much more comfortable within your soul, within, whatever is in how it sits in your body.
and maybe we don't even think of it as intuition at the moment because we're just feeling a positive thing. Whereas intuition, that is a warning of some sort.
Setting off any alarms.
Yeah, seems to be more present.
Yeah.
Where else do we feel intuition outside of like dates and meeting people? It's a lot about meeting people though, isn't it? Not even romantically, but like at work or on the street at an audition or
Navigating a theme park.
yeah.
Oh yeah, sense of direction.
I have no sense of direction whatsoever.
Really?
Me neither. My sister got all of that.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Wait, so
Yeah.
do you guys remember where you parked in the parking lot?
Oh,
Sometimes.
geez, sometimes no. I could follow directions to a place, drop somebody off, and within 30 seconds be out and back on the road and forget whether I'm supposed to take a left or a right.
Right.
Yeah, that does happen.
GPS has been a huge
I don't
boon in
I
my
don't drive
life.
without GPS.
no,
hard.
but unfortunately, GPS has done that to us. Has done that to
Yep.
our sense of direction and our directional intuition.
I get mad too when it's not specific. Like it hasn't like rerouted and I'm like, do I take a left or I take a right?
Yeah.
And I got to take if I have a choice and I'm not sure which way the arrow is really pointing, I will always make the wrong choice.
I will too. Yeah. Well, that's why GPS has like ruined us.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, cell phones too. I don't know.
We
I don't know
were
a
fine
single-
before. We were fine.
I
We were-
wasn't. I
we
was
were-
getting lost then too.
Well, if you had a Rand McNally, then you'd be all right.
No, I can't read a map.
At
Some
all?
maps are
Not
fine.
really, no.
They're interesting though. I like maps.
Maps are cool to look at.
But you can't read a fucking map when you're driving. That's
No,
so
but like you
dangerous.
write it down. Like it's this street to that street, and then I got to get on 86
Well,
or
I gotta
whatever.
say-
Well, that's like that's used to print it out.
Yeah, MapQuest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I used to like a printout.
before GPS, my dad
Paperwork.
wrote me an email on how to get to our Cape Cod house.
Okay.
And then because of the first trip that I took, I never forgot it. I never forgot how to get there. And then, a few years later, GPS comes out and I have to make a couple trips to JFK Airport. And every time I go, it's a different route because GPS chooses a different route. So guess what? I don't know how to get to JFK. No idea. Couldn't tell you.
Well, it's giving you the best route, and you just want to be. If you're going to the airport, you just want to make sure that you're getting there. So I.
But it's just confusing. I don't like going down. I don't like going down there. I do it a lot. Not to just JFK, but like to that general New York area.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Manhattan. But like I'm going to the Bronx tonight to see a friend, and I've been to his house so many times. Couldn't tell you how to get there. No idea.
Because you don't have to.
But the Bronx confuses the shit out of me.
Yeah. Well, the city is tough. I've made wrong turns with the GPS.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, you haven't going to our friend's house in Brooklyn one time. It was like it said take a right here, and I took a right, but there were two like lanes for right, and then it was like went down an alley that you shouldn't have gone down. And
Did you
was
know
a
that
mess.
someone told me recently that if you struggle with your right and left,
yes,
that's like a cognitive disability.
yeah, it's part of one of the issues that comes up in dyslexia.
Yeah. That happens to me. I get my rights and lefts confused so much that I will be making rights when GPS tells me left.
You want a handicap sticker for your new car?
Yeah.
Maybe I should get one.
Sometimes I'd make the little L, and I'm like, is that what an L looks like?
I
Like,
have
I don't trust
looked
it.
at the L before and I've picked the wrong one.
And I'm like, that doesn't work right. It should be
So that's, I
L.
guess, when intuition goes out the window, that
Yeah.
we're not listening.
Yeah, we may be dyslexic
Dyslexic
twins.
buddies.
Yeah. Okay, so intuition. Let's read some, because we're going to intuition before we go to premonition.
Sure.
Here's some. Wait, I have distinct characteristics or similarities between the two, or have the myths of intuition. Look, I'm prepared because I prepare for this thing, because sometimes people have books and they don't read from their books, and so I have to take care of stuff.
Can't
You know what I'm
find
saying?
my dictionary,
Why'd
my
you help
little
me?
travel dictionary.
Just a little help. Intuition is magical or superpower. Intuition is often portrayed as a mystical or supernatural ability
No.
that only a few possess. However, intuition is a natural cognitive process. It goes into what it actually is. However, intuition is a natural cognitive process that arises from our subconscious mind and can be developed and honed through experience and self-awareness. So it's not magic; it's experience, right? Or our gut telling us.
It's a culmination of your knowledge, your experiences.
I don't think it's
working
magic.
together.
I think what is
It's not magic.
no, but I
Evolution,
think
too,
that
has a lot to do with.
I think that also intuition is also it's also formulaic. It's calculating things.
yeah.
So if I look into a crowd and I'll have the 90% of the time have the intuition to get through that crowd before I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know. Say
I think what you're saying, and I could be making it all up because I'm not in your brain, but you're saying you are assessing a group of people, thinking my goal is to navigate my way through this.
I
because
can very
don't
quickly
want to.
calculate that. Yes.
And so you're creating your own little GPS system
Yes.
through based upon
Right.
your intuition.
Right.
I'm going to have less resistance to this group of people if I
Exactly.
go through
Yeah.
that. You know,
I'm usually right.
like a Terminator monster. You see the computer in your head.
Like if I go to TSA, I've got the intuition of which line to get in, which is going to move smoother. I can already see a problem happening before it happens.
That's a gift.
Yeah, that sounds like magic.
Yeah.
I can see a problem with people happening before it happens. When someone's not ready and they're going to have a huge problem, you're going to be behind them forever. I'm generally not wrong.
Wait, is that premonition though?
No, because I would already known about that beforehand. So
Before you got to
it's
the
in
place?
it's in the moment that I'm calculating the risks and the factors and the outcomes, and they all run through my head, and then I just make a split decision immediately.
I think premonition would be
Premonition, I would already know that.
You'd
be
already
happening.
know.
Premonition is when I
isn't
can.
You're still talking about what could happen in the future.
Well, let's say on your way to
I
the
can
airport,
see it in front of me.
On your way to the airport, you're like, I have a feeling
a
that
premonition-
security is going to be a mess, and security, like, no.
Your Final
Am I wrong?
Fantasying? Is that what it is?
Hmm.
You're having a Final Fantasy.
So let's say, okay, so like
Premonition.
my
Intuition, you have to have the information in front of you to
assess.
right, or be in the situation.
Yeah.
and premonition just
And
can come.
premonition is just like,
You could be
you
sitting
know
on
what?
an
I bet you
airplane.
anything this person's going to call me today, and they got an issue.
Yeah.
Sure enough, they call, or I'm very good at that. Going, I guarantee you, we go down this route. Watch in 2 weeks. Watch this person implode. I'm gonna leave it alone. Just watch it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, are you
Brady's
saying
got
that that's
excellent
a-
premonition.
You're saying that's a premonition?
That's premonition.
But it feels like you're gathering the information and then assessing it and making a prediction,
Which
not a
is-
premonition.
But I
Whereas
think
a premonition, I feel like, and I could be wrong, feels like it comes out of nowhere in like a dream state. And so you see something happening that actually happens.
well, I don't think it's
Yeah.
as dreamy. It can be it's like
Intuition and premonition can cross over a little bit on the what do you call it?
the Venn diagram. Yeah. It's knowing that something is about to happen, but it's like it almost doesn't come from within you. It comes from outside of you, I think. Is that a good way to describe it?
Yeah.
And intuition kind of comes from within you. I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can have the premonition that, like, when I'm about to leave work, that there's going to be a giant traffic jam on the highway, without knowing that.
And so then you use your intuition to find a better route to get home.
Yeah,
maybe.
and you're like,
I don't know.
My intuition says go to Waze.
Turn.
Yeah.
U-turn. Make you.
But then your intuition
turn right,
might say, like,
turn.
make your decision, like, whether or not
U-turn.
you want to stay in the traffic jam, because I just feel like being in the traffic jam, which
That feels like an intuition. Like if
Yeah.
I stay here, it's going to open up in enough time that I would waste my time if I went off road and tried to work around it.
Right.
But I feel like this is going to open up soon, and I'll be all right.
yes,
That's intuition.
that's intuition.
That's intuition, yes. Intuition is like, I have a nut allergy. Let me try a peanut and see what happens. Moving on.
I feel like we should go back to the idea of verses. So I'm not going to go to any more myths about intuition. I'm going to go back to like the comparison, because I feel like that's really what we're talking about. It also is like, I'm sorry, it's a little disappointing in the sense of we're talking about very small potatoes here.
We are?
Yeah, it feels like my intuition about traffic, or my
Oh.
intuition about this cereal is going to be better than another cereal. Whereas I want the magic.
Oh, okay.
I like not from us, but like I want it to be sorcery. I do want it to be sorcery. I
not.
want the myths to happen. I want some sort of special power that gives us guidance into the great philosophical questions of all time, and we're not getting it.
Well, we can get there. I mean, my dreams can be premonition dreams.
I agree. I think they all are.
I'm very, very, very good at predicting outcomes.
Intuition is a broader concept.
I predicted that you were going to cut me off in my mind.
No,
I just
your
waited
face
on
didn't
you.
say that. That
Exactly,
was
because
really
I
funny.
kept my face in a neutral position so you couldn't intuitively figure out what I'm doing.
So intuition and premonition share similarities, but are also distinct characteristics. Like in nature, intuition is a broader concept that encompasses a general sense of understanding or knowing, while premonition specifically refers to a sense of anticipation or foreknowledge about future events. All right, we kind of said that, right?
Yeah.
You said nature, and now I'm in the forest.
Yes, and I think it meant like human nature.
Oh, okay. Because I'm thinking, like, I have a feeling that
I was
tree's
thinking of the
gonna
colors
fall.
of the wind.
Oh.
I would love for you to sing it, but you can't because we
No.
can't afford it. We can't afford you singing it.
We can do an off-brand version of it.
I'm struggling with my voice lately since my illness.
Really?
Yeah, it hasn't fully recovered.
It will.
And yeah. We're just I've been waking up every morning with like just stuff sitting up on the throat. Yeah.
Ar-
It's not
artistically, it's not something that I think about in terms of like my instrument. You know, it's so interesting to hear it from you, and then it makes total and complete sense. But like when I get sick and my voice changes, I'm like, what a fucking bonus. Like I'm speaking in a way that doesn't annoy me as much, or something else is resonating out of my voice. But like when you're singing, it's totally and completely different.
No, I gauge my health based on how my voice feels.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Timing. Intuition can occur in real time, influencing immediate decisions or
Yes.
perceptions, whereas premonitions involve a sense of future events
Right.
before that happen. I feel like we've touched on
We
this,
just
right?
did that. I just explained all that.
You had the intuition that I was going to get to it. No, you
I
had
did.
the premonition that I was going to get
You
to
let me
it.
finish. ...
Intuition. This is rationality. Intuition can be based on subconscious processing or information patterns and past experiences, even if not immediately explainable. Premonitions, on the other hand, often lack a rational or logical basis and can seemingly arise spontaneously, which I think is what I was saying. Emotion. I'm just going to finish all of this. Emotional component. Intuition is often associated with a sense of clarity, confidence, or insight, while premonitions can carry a stronger emotional charge, including feelings of foreboding, unease, or anticipation.
Premonition does involve a lot of emotion. Yes.
Yeah, because it's
an emotionally based, spiritually based,
it's about the
non-dairy.
future.
Yeah. Non-dairy.
I've had
you need to digest it. That's important.
It's true.
Digest.
I've had premonitions. When my last relationship ended, I had a premonition.
Yeah.
And I really didn't like it. And it sit in my body and it made me so uncomfortable for days. Couple days.
Were you right?
Leading up to the breakup?
Mm-hmm.
Were you right?
I was right. I didn't know
what it was.
I didn't know what it
specifically?
was until we had the conversation because I didn't know what he was thinking. But there was some sort of communication that wasn't happening between us, and I just it's not like he said something that triggered it,
Right.
but I was like, something is off, and I don't know why I know this.
Oftentimes premonitions are it's your gut stirring the premonitions trying to get out, but we can't.
Yeah.
We're too
Which
complicated.
is
and clogged
interesting
up
because like
to let it
I'd never had any
We don't wanna believe
intuition. Yeah, I thought about that because I was like,
And then
was
it
there
blocks
any
it.
was there any intuition during this that I was ignoring? And there wasn't. But that's been true in other
Then
relationships.
your gut
where,
stirred, but you
Yeah.
didn't want to hear it.
Yeah, in other relationships, I have ignored my intuition, and then I suffer the consequences. And I think that
Did you suffer the consequences, or did you gain the knowledge?
I both. Yeah, there were consequences that were, there was temporary pain, and then and then I gained the knowledge for sure. I mean, all these things are so helpful.
Yeah.
But
true.
but I think that there are times when intuition can feel a little bit weak, or the desire to ignore it is so much stronger. And yeah.
No, I don't ignore it. I lean probably too much into it.
I think I want to ignore it a lot of the time,
Yep.
especially if it's going to
No.
lead towards somewhere that either has a pain at the end of it, or
You just want to see what happens.
or I want to hope that I'm wrong, because wow, people are very loud outside.
Cross-sided
Door
warning.
slamming.
I don't know.
That's a frog from
Just
Jamaica.
On a sidebar, like if you live here, right? So
Yeah.
that the doors are heavy and the doors slam.
I said this the other week. Just
Why?
Oh, people have
kind
no
of
awareness.
Like,
I was eating lunch outside the other day, and someone 2 tables down started to watch something on YouTube on their phone, like super loud. I'm like, do
Did you
not
teach him a lesson?
No, because
slap it out of the hand.
then somebody else at the table next to him was like, "Oh, are you watching blah blah blah?" And then they had a full-on conversation about it. So I was like, "Okay, that's kind of nice." But I don't know.
It seems weird. If I didn't have headphones, I'd be like, well, unfortunately, I got to watch this later. Or I have to put it way down the volume, and I got to put it up to my ear so I could hear it. I'll watch it by itself without the sound, and then I'll put, but
why
maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're just way too courteous to other people, and we should just fucking take up more space, Claire. We should just take up more space, and we don't want to.
It's interesting because we take up a lot of space on stage. We like that. We do that.
I make
Easily.
myself very small on stage.
Well, I like to assert myself
You sure do.
by being on stage. Like that's my assertiveness is like being
I will go.
is oh Lord.
Doesn't get old. Oh Lord.
Oh Lord.
Favorite part.
I mean I like to I don't know. I'm a very expressive person, and either I will attack you or I will do nothing.
Poisonous puffed up pig.
Is
Is that it?
Yeah. Poisonous puffed up pig.
The sweetest things you've ever said to me. I can
Old
do
hog.
it. I can do it on stage
Old hog.
very easily. My stage life and my real life. We just did this in therapy too, and my therapist was saying to me like, well, why can't you just think of it like an acting exercise? And what would it be like if you what would a character who was confident in this, how would they go about their things? And I'm like, it doesn't work that way. Like, it just doesn't work that way. Oh my God, this is more door slamming. Jesus Christ. Just ease the door up, right?
Maybe they have a really big fan in there or something. Are all the doors slamming? Are all the doors that heavy that they have to slam?
I don't know. You tell me.
Oh, easy.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had a premonition that we were going to be broken into.
Oh, no.
All the doors in this place are heavy, and everybody knows that. And so, why not just like put your foot there for a second, so that when the door goes to close, you just
Thank
stop
you.
it a little bit. So
Yep.
just a little.
There
It's
are
Sunday.
people out there that don't care.
Yeah, they don't.
They
don't.
want to make sure that their door is closed.
They don't care, or they don't think about it.
Or maybe they know we're recording and they want to be disruptive
You
to
know,
us.
who even knows if the people listening can even hear that?
I don't know. I can hear things upstairs and I can hear things downstairs sometimes, but I don't hear everything. So I
is
don't
nice.
I don't know how it goes, but like I could tell. I think I told you maybe a year ago. I was like, oh, they're watching the Lord of the Rings upstairs. I could tell they got surround sound for Christmas and they're watching Lord of the Rings. I could tell. Anyways, my whole point was in therapy. Now back to this. It's like ADD, which
ADHD.
there's no hyperness. I don't.
We
think
don't. No, we don't. It's not called ADD in medical terms anymore. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Well,
I don't mean to be woke.
Be woke.
it feels woken. She was trying to explain to me like why not just take on the persona of somebody who can feel this way, and I was like, I just don't know how that works in real life. I don't know how to take the acting skills that I normally have and just apply them to real life. And then one of our friends was saying it to me the other day too. It was like, well, you just can't. Why not just put on the persona? We always mask in certain ways to do blah blah blah. And I'm like, you never act that way. I was like, I've directed you a couple times, and you need to know everything about everything you're saying before you say it. So how can you sit there and tell me you just pretend you'll be blah blah blah? You know, if you're asking somebody out or some stupid shit like that. Anything that I just say makes sense? I know,
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
swirling.
Yeah, it is. It does.
Anyways, I can't translate the two.
Well, I think that. Well, I forgot where we started on this though.
Intuition.
No.
Premonition.
But it was about asserting ourselves and how to act big because of the door slamming
Yes.
and the person listening to the thing outside on their phone, and then we said maybe we should be louder.
Yes, because I was thinking this is how I would approach wanting to watch a video in public.
No, but here's where we're different.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if it's intuition, and it's certainly not premonition, but it's a feeling on the inside that I don't want to disturb others with my sound.
Yes.
So I would like to be as polite as I would expect others to be around me.
Yes. Courtesy.
Yes,
It's
and
free.
I don't.
Courtesy is free.
Yeah.
When does courtesy become an expectation you're putting on people that you don't know?
Every moment of
when
every
you're
day
having
is what I do.
in Buckingham Palace.
What?
I always think about when I was learning table manners when I was younger, and with the forks and the knives were on a
Yes.
certain
I
size.
had to go to manners
and,
class as a kid.
and then the napkin was folded.
You went
one
to
way,
classes,
we would-
right? Manners?
No, I did it at my house.
Oh, I had to
It
go
was
to
always
manners
taught by my
class.
mother, and the thing was like no elbows on the table, no burping at the table, no singing. No singing. When you're playing the piano in the house, two people don't play the piano at the same time unless you're playing a duet.
What? I was
Yeah.
gonna say, what is that? Heart and soul.
Heart
You
and
need
soul.
to, don't you?
Yeah, you need to. Unless
heart
you're playing a duet, that's fine.
Or soul.
But like, if my
Not
sister
one,
goes up
both.
to play the piano on one end, I can't just go sit next to her and play something on the upper end of the piano. Like we have to be in sync together. Like there's no like clomping on the piano. Like be
Would you get a
courteous.
whooping?
Wouldn't get a whooping, but
A
at
whoop-
the
no,
dinner
no, no,
table,
no, no,
you
no,
would get
no,
judged.
no. That's not what I said. A whooping.
a whooping. No. No.
Say it again.
A whooping? So the threat at the dinner table was, Claire, when you're having breakfast,
You gonna get a whooping.
when you're at the table with the Queen of England, this is how you act. You don't play with the wax and the candles. You don't pick at your placemat with the toothpick. You don't like swirl all your food together on the plate because you don't want to eat it. You sit straight up in your chair and you are polite. Because it was always the threat of if one day I had to eat with the Queen of England, I had to be on my absolute best behavior, and these were the rules I had to follow.
And you know what? I think if you look at the rules of conduct around the Queen, I bet none of that is there. I bet your I'm sorry.
You can get a
I'm
whooping.
sorry, Claire's mom, but I am guaranteeing that the rules of conduct around the Queen don't include any of those things. And my point is, you are ill prepared. You are ill prepared to have dinner with the Queen.
But maybe 25 years ago, 35 years ago.
I don't think it's changed. I think this is centuries.
Well,
If
the
you
one
were
thing that
having
has
dinner with the
changed-
Queen, her staff would prep you before the dinner.
Yeah, but I think it's like you can't make eye contact. You can't address the Queen before the Queen addresses you. You would have just been in there making conversation because you're thinking, oh, my stuff on my plate is all right, and I'm not twirling the thing, and I'm not singing.
There goes
you are
your head.
ill-prepared, Claire.
Yep, your
You're
head-
ill-prepared.
But what I do know is that no elbows on the table.
That probably is the same. You're right.
Yeah. And put your napkin in your lap.
Yeah.
My parents threatened me with Dan Rather.
What's that?
What if I was
Explain.
at dinner with Dan Rather? How would you,
Who's Dan Rather?
Wow.
He was a news personality.
Oh. I thought this was a play on words, like Dan Rather.
Dude.
Dan Rather you eat on the porch. Or
he was from the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that.
And the 2000s, he just passed.
I'm just saying that I think you dated yourself right
the
there.
Queen passed too.
You were trying to make a Dan
Did I
Rather
date
joke.
myself, or did someone show their...
Well, somebody told me they were born in 1938 today
That's true.
at
He
this
was.
table.
Grady was born in 1938.
Everybody keep your tops on.
I just want you to know, audience, that Grady doesn't like to celebrate his birthday.
No, stop.
And his birthday
No.
just came up. And let me just say that I
No.
wanted to get him presents
No.
to show him that I cared about him and to make myself feel better about myself, that I know my friends. And he robbed me of that situation totally and completely.
It was really selfish.
It was very, very selfish. It's the most selfish thing. We could have had cake today.
Mm-hmm.
We could have had cake. If I didn't go to the emergency room, that was my plan. I was going to get cake for him and get all this stuff. But no, I had to have a cardiac event, so I couldn't fucking take care of my friend. It's bullshit, Grady. It's bullshit.
let's roll that
If
tape.
I had known, had known,
I'm just gonna chalk
You
a
didn't have
lot
the
of this up.
premonition. You should have had the premonition.
my intuition, my premonitions suck. They're so bad.
Excuse
I
me.
can't.
You have another kind of superpower, though. But I just have to say, before we
What
get
is
to
it?
that,
You just can't just say that and then just walk away.
well, I do think Matt has really good intuition. And I think intuition goes a lot deeper than what we're discussing now, because I think it's, maybe some people don't have as strong premonitions, and I think that's fine. I think we do all have a bit of premonition. We just don't know that we have it.
I will say this. I think my premonitions are tainted by my desire for things to happen. I think I meddle in them and make them daydreams and push them towards premonition, hoping that maybe something will catch.
Never does.
Never.
No.
Never.
Nope.
But I think I get in the way of it. I don't think I'm open to premonitions because I will future myself or, fantasize, not in a sexual way, but have the daydream or fantasy of what I want to happen. So I think that's really my point. My want destroys any ability for premonition.
Premonitions come in. We accept them. We should. We accept them, analyze them for a short amount of time, and then file them until we discover that we were right.
I sometimes think that premonitions, at least I think when I've had them, I don't know that I'm having them.
Okay.
There
That
are
makes
times
sense.
there are times that I think that things happen and I'm like, wow, I just thought of that.
When did I have corn?
You're Professor Trelawney. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Like you these are my premonitions, and then all of a sudden a real premonition happens, and you're just not aware of it.
But so in my dreams, I have a lot of dreams about certain customers coming in the store or certain events happening at the store, and then they happen. But then I have dreams about other scary things happening at the store, and they don't happen. Like robberies
Okay.
don't happen.
Yet.
They have happened, which is probably why I have had the dream.
You
I was in a robbery at our company like several years ago, which is probably why I have these dreams. But in the dreams, there are fears about a robbery. But also in the dream is there are certain negative dreams that I have about work where it's like we're closing and like all these customers come in the store and I've forgotten to lock the door and like too many customers are in that kind of thing. But then there are dreams where somebody walked in and I'm like, oh, hi, nice to see you. And then literally the next day that person will come into the store. And I think I brought this up in our dreams session. But
which you can listen to. It's available for you to listen to.
But then I don't know if that is a premonition because it's a dream. Dreams are fucking weird. My dreams are so weird. So is it a premonition?
Yes.
Or is it just a dream?
Premonitions come in dreams.
Yeah.
Well, I think in our dream episode, I think Alex was very quick to say it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I don't believe that.
And you don't believe that.
No.
I don't. I believe it sometimes, not all the time.
Not
Yeah.
even inkling.
I think I want to believe they mean something. I don't know that I do believe that, but I want to. I want
about this? There's a reason.
Fantasy. I want the magic. I
Yeah.
want the
Well-
fairy tale. I want that part of life.
But there are some dreams that I mean I think I remember the first time I dreamt that my parents were dead, and that was a
Yeah.
very, very sad and scary dream.
Absolutely.
Probably the first time I ever felt that amount of fear, and in my non-waking
Yeah.
life. But that didn't happen. I woke up, then you think, oh my God, that's going to happen.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it didn't happen. So that's why, I have all these dreams about certain things happening that never happen. But then sometimes I have a dream that something's happening and that does happen. So then I don't know if I'm having premonition.
Premonitions can come in. They can be delivered in many different ways. Dreams are just one of them.
Yeah, and nothing has 100% accuracy rating. I also think because dreams can have magic and all of that, there's a certain reality to our existence that certain dreams won't happen. First time my parents died in a dream, it was during World War II. So impossible to happen because, they may have been alive during World War II, but barely, they were.
But World
young
War
and-
II
No,
isn't
no.
happening now.
And it's not happening now, so it's although there are Nazis, so maybe we're closer than I thought. But yeah, so some things can happen that way and some things can't. I definitely think that I have that desire. When it comes to intuition though, I don't know that my intuition is very good, or I ignore it. Like I can eat a bowl of red flags. Red flags are intuition, right? And I could put a bowl and like cereal could eat them thinking
Red flags are
my
just red
intuition.
flags.
I don't trust my intuition.
But do you know that you're eating the red flags?
I think so.
Red
Yeah.
flags and intuition are different.
What? Really?
Red flags are already put out there for you. You can see them. If you choose to ignore them, then you choose to ignore them. Your intuition is telling you something. The red flag's already out there. Or if a red flag's there, you're seeing it.
Well, and then I think sometimes I think that red flags are hard to recognize. It might be hard to recognize. I think the older we get, the more experiences we have, and
Or we don't want to talk to anybody, and we're tired.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
It's easy. It's easier to just be like, oh yeah, this person's gonna fuck me over at some point, so I'll just whatever. I'm enjoying our time together now.
That's a red flag, but your intuition is telling you that it's a red flag.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You're just accepting it. You're just planting that flag and saying,
Yeah.
well,
Now,
we won't be friends for long, but right now we're friends.
now,
I mean,
for me,
It
if I ignore my intuition, it comes back to me, and then it reminds me that I have an intuition. But it all builds up in my stomach, and then I have no choice but to listen to it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else. But
What was the last
My
thing?
energy stomach, my solar plexus.
Right, which is always weird to me because I always thought it was higher, but we've discussed this already.
Yeah.
What was the last thing you had an intuition about? Cricket.
I mean, Well, what kind of What do you mean?
I don't care. There
don't
doesn't have to be
know.
categories.
Having
you know.
intuition stuff all the time.
Like every day, you think you have an intuition thing?
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
never goes away.
Well, okay, then when was the last time you had a significant one? Here's what I have intuitions. I may have to cut all of this out.
Do you have one that you want to share?
It seems like you do.
No, I don't. I mean, I could say I had intuition about not feeling well the other day and doing something about it. But that's not really what I was thinking about. I guess I was thinking about the last production I got involved with, and thinking I just have this feeling that it's not going to be what I want it to be, and then going through the process and realizing that it wasn't. And I had all those red flags, and I just fucking ate them like a bowl of cereal.
Now that you say that,
That's a premonition, though.
Is it a premonition?
You had a premonition and it came true.
See, it doesn't feel like a premonition in any way. It feels to me like I had data. I made
Okay.
a decision based upon the data.
That's when they
was
blur
going to be.
a bit.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, that's when they scissor.
yeah, I had
They got intimate,
that.
did they?
Well, not not like the
Oh, okay.
not like clams bumping, but like the what?
Nothing.
He's
What?
talking seafood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I love
anyway,
seafood.
now that you mentioned that, I also had the experience of
The royal
having
shafting.
that thought about a show that I did this year too,
Yeah,
where I
Who directed it?
uh
I'm joking. Say something.
I did it because I was asked to, and I mean, premonition is too strong of a word,
Yeah, I agree.
and premonition was like all the facts were obvious to me, and so that it wasn't like some magical mystical thing that was like, oh, I had a thought and oh my gosh, it came true and I can't believe it did. It all the facts were there, and however I thought this was going to go, it went exactly that way.
Yeah.
I think I might have had a unique experience. I think I might have been the only one that felt that way in the entire cast.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm like, what is it about me that feels this way? But the whole time, my intuition was like, I mean, I wasn't uncomfortable in the sense that was like, I have to get out of this. But it was just like everything that was going on in that process.
This is going to be painful.
It was just not doing it for me.
Yeah. Probably because there was a voodoo doll made of you.
You have,
Maybe.
yeah,
By
I think so.
another
I was going to
cast
bring
member
that up.
That you were in a love triangle that you didn't even have a clue that you were
Maybe
in.
that's what was happening.
How much does your intuition come into?
There was all this
Jesus.
Oh my God.
energy coming your way.
Wait.
that you just didn't even have a clue about.
Oh my God. You're so right.
Yeah.
How much of your intuition do you use when you're
Unbelievable.
casting a show?
I think probably a decent amount.
I think you probably would have to, wouldn't
But
you?
there's also a formula that I'm putting together.
But you're also open to going, I need to see.
Yeah, I'm always open to being surprised.
So that's interesting that you don't want, that you deny your intuition, you say, or oftentimes barrel through it. But when you're casting something, you're aware of your intuition, but you're also giving space for freedom of discovery with yourself and what you're seeing.
I believe.
You can fly.
Oh, I wish. How cool. No, I don't think I would. I don't like.
I can touch the sky.
Easy. We can't
Think
afford a
about
lot
it
of that
every
stuff,
night and day.
That guy needs money. So I think we discussed earlier in this podcast that my creative life and my real life are very, very different. So I think it's not unexpected to think that my intuition, whether I'm aware of it or not, works very well creatively, but in real life is a horrific mess of not following feelings, pushing through other feelings.
I think you are following your feelings, but you're taking them and running with them.
In real life?
Mm-hmm. Maybe. When it comes to fantasy. maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes that fantasy is like I don't have control over it. Like my brain and my body will indulge in feelings that I don't even really want to have at the time. And then other times I'm not being honest. I'm not being truthful with feelings, and I'm being too courteous, or I am making sure that I'm not putting people in an uncomfortable situation, or just hyper aware of not what I want, but like pleasing others. Pleasing is the wrong word, but like making it, and instead of just being honest and dealing with the consequences of that,
you don't rock
like
the boat.
honesty, absolutely not rocking the boat. So I can't do it, I struggle with doing it in real life.
Have you ever tried?
I feel like I have. I'm hoping that with everything that's going on in my life recently, that maybe I will be less protective of everybody else and start to ask for what I want, and be clear about my feelings and my opinion and my intuition.
Well, let's start right now. What do you want?
Oh, stop it. This won't go out for weeks, so it can't manifest itself if I put it out right now on tape.
It's exactly, Will. You put it out there, and then manifesting doesn't take.
What do you want, Claire?
That got reversed on you quick.
Paperwork.
I
Claire
want to
wants more paperwork.
I want to get rid of half of my belongings.
You've mentioned that before.
Yeah. What do I want? I want
Annette Bening to finally win an Oscar.
She has never won an Oscar.
It may be beyond her time.
No, Hillary
wanna-
Stank robbed her twice.
I kind of want to be in a movie. I want to be in a
film.
I want to be in a film. I also would like a very comfortable and happy relationship. Like I really want a connection with another person that which honestly I don't even really need. I really don't. I'm very, very fine on my own, 100%.
Keep your body fresh. Keep your body clean.
Is that a soap commercial line? No.
Or some sort of lyric and stuff like that.
Might be.
Isn't that though when you're not in need of it? Isn't that when you're most?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my fortune cookie did say last night, the love of your life will unexpectedly show up in front of you.
Well, you can't ignore the cookies.
No, cookies are never wrong.
Cookies say it all. What do you want, Grady? If silence is what you want, nailed it. Nailed it.
World peace.
I do kind of want silence.
Yeah? Things are quiet, like in your head or around you? Or both?
Both, yeah. Yeah, around me.
Things are too noisy, like...
I greatly enjoy quiet.
And yet you can be one of the loudest people I know.
That true?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I like being on my own. I want solitude. Solitude standing. I want peace.
Do you remember
For
that?
who? For yourself or for
Everyone.
everyone?
Yeah, I do.
Do you remember what Rebecca said to Roy?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Yeah.
What'd she say?
Don't go in there. Don't use the. Yeah, don't go in that. Don't go in there.
No.
Oh.
No. No. Liar.
What
She said,
what
what do you want, man? And
Right.
he said, I just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
And she said, fuck you. You don't. You
Right.
just don't think you deserve anything. And so you're afraid to kind of like make any choice or put yourself out there and stuff like that. So I guess my feeling is, as you say that, is do you really... I don't know that I believe that you really want quiet.
Hmm.
And I'm only putting it to you because I think the last time we got together, I forgot what we were talking about.
Desire.
Ooh. I think you were holding back, and I think I didn't push you, and I should have pushed you more, because the minute the mics went off, we were talking about desire in a deeper way.
You pushed me in the trash.
No, because my can isn't.
Don't
big
push
enough.
me in the trash.
My can isn't big enough for you, and
I could fit in there.
It's pretty big.
I could fit into your can.
That's what I walked into it, so I couldn't ignore it.
I can make myself very small.
I don't know if silence
is golden, so let us be rich. Shut up.
Silence is, you would want silence because then there's no more music. There's no talking.
Is that on a piece of driftwood? Can I hang that on my...
See, I like...
Deflect. Do you see that? He just Wonder Woman deflected.
I know.
That real thing.
See, I like silence sometimes. Like, I like silence when I'm eating lunch outside and I don't want someone to come along and start to play shit on their phone in my vicinity.
Quiet, silence.
Yeah.
You need to have it in your life.
But...
As everything?
Sometimes I need sound.
Yeah.
Need it.
Right now, what I want is to work on this show.
Yeah.
Which is not silent.
No,
and
it's all.
It's not solidarity. It is vulnerability. It is more revealing of who you are as a person than any show that you've probably done in a long time.
It's
a show where you can't mask. I mean, you are like you are exactly the opposite of what you kind of just said in doing the work for this show coming up.
Maybe that's why I want the silence right now, because I'm about to not have it for a while.
Well, just know that on Sunday mornings, we are not allowing you silence. You can have it for the rest of the time until rehearsal, but Sunday mornings, there are no silence for Grady.
No.
Yeah. No. No, but I do see that. I see that this working on the show that we're working on right now.
There's a calm before the storm right now.
No, but it is like we're dipping into desire again. A huge part of your desire and want at this time, and also because it gets to challenge your intuitions.
Yes,
I don't know that premonition. Comes into it.
I don't have any premonitions.
Well, because creatively,
right
why would you want to?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
that's why I'm not. I wouldn't not even dipping into that.
Yeah.
I don't even. I mean, no. There's too much discovery,
and that's the glory. That's the glory of creative.
I have no idea what this will look like when it's time to have butts in the seats.
Yeah,
have no idea, and I'm so excited about the fact that I really cannot picture what it will be like, what it will feel like, and I do not want to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
You don't want a premonition.
No, I'm not a peeker. I don't open up Christmas gifts and shake them under the tree. I want to be surprised.
I have premonitions about Christmas.
I want to be.
I'm
very
presents.
well. How about this? Okay, I am very, very, very good at guessing gifts. So most people, I'll ask a few questions, and I can usually figure out what they've gotten me. So I try not to do that.
It's interesting that you talk about that as being a skill, and yet you robbed us of the ability to get you presents that you could have guessed because you wouldn't let us know your birthday.
Well, Jimmy Buffett passed away, so
yeah, I'm not getting you anything that has to do with margaritas, but you're getting stuff. Oh, you're fucking getting stuff. And again, if I had better timing, there would have been cake today. There would have been cake this morning.
It's okay. You were busy.
I know, but still, there is a good part of me that's like annoyed with that.
A good part of you.
Yeah, there's a good part of me because I didn't remember until we sat down and had this conversation. Like, oh yeah, you were planning on fucking getting cake and doing a whole thing, and did you have enough time to get the stuff? And
it's the thought that counts.
So you did not have a premonition that it was Grady's birthday before it was his birthday.
He had been talking about it, but he didn't specify. But it was very much like I remember. And I was like, well, it doesn't matter because then we can celebrate on Sunday because that's when we're getting together. So I knew it was in the ether, but I didn't know the day. And yeah, I got stupid busy. So, intuition, folks. This is I really don't even know.
We haven't cracked it. We haven't cracked it.
We never will.
No, but we have to leave. Look, more than ever, am I highly aware that this documentation of us discussing topics for my children is very important to me. Very, very important to me. That's why we had to meet. We had to meet today. We had to meet. Who knows what's going to fucking happen? I don't know. And I wanted to see your faces because I love you both. But I want to crack some of it, or at least have open it up a little bit for them.
Mm-hmm. Didn't
like,
we do
why
that?
is it? But no, why is intuition important?
Because it helps inform what your choices are. If you use it, you have to use it though. It's a practice. It's a skill.
If I could make a guidebook for my children, which I won't because that's not a thing, but if I could, right?
No, you do a podcast.
Based on this podcast that we're doing, I would try and help them understand what their intuition is very early on. And not just because we all have it, but we don't know what it is. We don't know that, and we don't know that we need to use it, and we don't know that we need to tap into it.
No,
but I didn't know growing up. It came to me.
I definitely knew growing up for sure.
I would think for my kids, their intuition at times says, "Don't do anything." They use their intuition to get out of doing stuff, as opposed to like really honing an intuition that says,
"Well, intuition.
Oh, this is going to be challenging. I may not want to do it, but this could be worth doing it." They'll use it like, oh, no, my gut is telling me, like, no, just stay at home and play video games and do nothing.
Well, sometimes you go for things that you want to go for because for different reasons other than intuition. You know, like I want to, okay, so when I was in high school, I wanted to be an academic scholar, but I didn't really want to have to work for it. I just wanted to fill the footsteps of my big sister, because she took all the hard academic courses in high school.
Right. And
for some reason, I thought that I had the same academic ability, but I didn't. And I refused to see that at the time. I pushed through to take those classes. I took them and I didn't excel. And if I really had listened to some sort of intuition, if I were able to tap into it, I would have been able to discover that I don't have this ability. It's okay that I don't have this ability.
Yeah. And
I'm going to take classes where I could still learn the same amount of information, but I could do it in a way that it works better for me and my level of skill.
Yeah.
So I pushed myself. And I was uncomfortable the whole time. And I was overworked and I didn't learn as much because I was too stressed about getting the grade rather than what I was learning. But then there were other things that I knew for sure that I could do. And that was music in school. I was like, I know that I want to be in choir. I know that I want to do the musicals. I know I don't want to be in band. And I know that, like, I know I want to do this and I don't want to be in sports and I don't want to do this. So I gave up my instrument for middle school and I went directly to singing, and I gave up one theater program for another. Those were things that were almost done before me. Like my big sister did those things too. So I wanted to follow in those footsteps as well. But there was a slightly complicated family dynamic that I had growing up. Yeah. And it prevented me from having a really strong sense of self. So I've been working on that sense of self over the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And up until then, things were not as straightforward. So intuition was mixed with self-preservation, desire for another kind of life, and mixing up what I want and what I need. So I didn't have a strong intuition growing up. And I wanted things, like I wanted to go to school for musical theater, and because I really, really wanted that. And then I had conflicting, I didn't have that support from my parents. They were like, you're not doing that. And I was like, but that's all I want to do. And I didn't do that. And I don't know if it's a regret or not. I sure as hell don't regret not having like piles and piles of college debt, which I don't have, thankfully, because I partnered with my parents and I did that whole thing with them. But it was not easy. I didn't have the strong enough sense of self and will to say, this is what I want, and I'm going to prove to you that I can do it.
Right.
I just said, this is what I want just because I want it. And they're like, that's not a good enough reason. Like, we're not going to pay XYZ for this. We'll pay for this, but we won't pay for this.
You know, it's a big lesson to take on. I believe that a lot of those like conservatories and stuff like that aren't the greatest thing for helping an actor, even if it's a musical theater actor and you're working on specific craft, to learn the complexities of human behavior. And so you don't learn as much. But like I think what you're saying, you know, that's almost irrelevant to what you're saying. You know, you're looking back on the thing and wondering if you had a greater faith in yourself and intuition, would you have taken that leap of faith, and how would that have perhaps changed who you are now? And I think that, you know, I think that's worth thinking about. I think it's an interesting dive to take, and really great like awareness of what's going on. I wonder if I did something similar in the opposite way and said, I wanted to go study communications instead of theater, if I would have been more successful in different jobs than I have coming out of being a theater major. You know, I've only really taught theater, but what if I had an education in something else, in communications? Would I have found a better way in? I don't know.
Well, you can still do that. It's not too late.
Well,
talking for yourself or for Matt?
For Matt.
Well,
but it's never too late to get another degree.
But I do have to say, for a long time, it has felt like it has been way too late. And this recent diagnosis of dyslexia has, although it made me very sad at the moment, given me a lot of clarity of why the struggle has felt so deep and so heavy. The thought of going to school, of reading, when I think about you and all the work that you have to do for your studies, it's hard for me to wrap my head around being able to do that, because reading has been so difficult for me for my whole life, but like certainly the last 5 years, maybe even longer. The idea of retaining things that I'm reading has felt such a monumental task that I couldn't even wrap my head. Like, I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to go get the teaching certificate and all this stuff. And everybody's like, you should do it and you should do it. And I just, being a student and having to do all that reading felt so beyond my reach. And I really couldn't figure out why that was.
It actually, it is a huge struggle for me too, which is why I never wanted to go back to school after I was done with school. But what I do know is that there's a subject matter that's interesting to me, and that's what I almost have to take the words out of being words and create them as ideas in my head, which is how you are able to remember things. Yeah. And because I'm not doing, it is academic, but it also has a lot to do with visuals, because it's about looking at things. Which is why it's so hard to read stuff about, on paper, this is what an inclusion in a diamond looks like, but you're not memorizing that in words. You're memorizing it in an image.
Right.
So, when we do school, we have to read stuff and take tests to then take that into application, where we're not taking tests and reading things.
Yeah.
That's not what teaching theater is.
No. And teaching, it's the things that I was studying, the actual practical doing is very, very different. But it was hard. Even things that I really wanted to do, just the idea of not having strategies for how to get through reading was daunting. It was really daunting. So to have some clarity on that, it feels less daunting. So maybe my future does have some education.
I had to get over that fear. I did, which is actually why I decided to be an English major, because it wasn't just about because I decided that I couldn't read academic texts. I could only read texts that were more interesting.
Right.
Literature
Story
was more interesting, and then the writing, the testing portion of being an English major is writing your interpretation of the story, which I was much better at.
Right.
And that's where I do think that my intuition connecting with stories and less on a, not on a formulaic, which is why I'm just not so good at math. Like, I'm not good at formulas.
Right.
I'm better with bigger pictures and ideas. That directly connects with my intuition. My intuition does not work in numbers.
It's interesting too, because my kids' intuition definitely works with numbers.
Really?
Yeah. They're very
them.
number oriented for.
That's why I struggle with
reason.
rhythm in music.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, that's my rhythm in music is so much more intuitive than it is intellectual. Like when people explain to me, like, they explain to me the rhythm in numbers, it goes right out of my head.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if you play it for me without using the numbers, I get it.
Then you're there.
Yeah.
So as we're kind of circling the wagons for the end of this, intuition and creativity and art is a really like cool thing. It comes up and is easy to follow, I find, in my life. And I think I've seen it in both of you. And then following intuition socially is a little bit harder, because everybody else is also following their own intuition. Mm-hmm. And so figuring that out is scary at times, but just do a stupid cliche, no risk, no reward. Right. Or there's no clarity without the risk of following that intuition. And just because sometimes you have an intuition and it's not right doesn't mean that there is flaw in who you are as a person.
No. I had a strong, in my decision to take these classes that I'm taking, which was a decision that I made 2.5 years ago, because it's a multiple year process to take these classes. I had a strong feeling that, the idea came from, like, I want to be confident in maybe running my own business one day.
Yeah.
And then I thought about all the things I needed to know, all the things that I would be comfortable knowing. I wanted to know if people asked me some hard questions about gemstones and diamonds in the industry. And I thought, I definitely need to do these courses. This is what I feel like I need to do. And that was, I had been skirting around the idea of taking these classes for a while, but I didn't have a firm enough reason.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it all clicked into place. And that wasn't a premonition at all. It was just like, I intuitively knew, like, if I want to be successful in doing certain things in my life and my career, I need to know these things.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But that was actually enough to propel me forward to be like, okay, we're gonna surmount the fear of school, and we're gonna do this. And I think it's because when you're doing something that you're naturally interested in, it's not so hard.
Yeah, it's also interesting to think that the things in our life that give us the motivation to Kool-Aid man through the wall of the fear that we have.
Ooh.
Hey
there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I back in the day when I was in acting school, I remember quitting smoking for a girl that I liked, not even dating, a girl that I liked for like 9 months. Like, wow. It was easy because I didn't want to be a smoker around her, and it's not like, there was chemistry, but like we weren't dating or anything like that. And I always go back to like, oh yeah, it can be. Anything could be easy when you have whatever you think is the right motivation.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Yes, Grady. You look like you're ready over there.
I want.
You've been preparing.
Yeah, you've been preparing something.
As we're wrapping up, I think we're wrapping up.
We were wrapping up.
Well, because we had a whole prologue.
This is for after.
That will be
I wanna show
for
you
special
something.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is something to show you for after.
Oh, for after.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess we're at the end of our intuition versus premonition. Premonition is all about magic. I think we clearly stated that. Intuition is about following the evidence that we've gotten and our guts.
How long did we record? Hour 24?
Yes.
Seriously?
No, I don't know.
What does it say?
1:31.
Not too far off.
20 minutes easily. We were talking about a collector.
stuff.
A collector. Like Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. We were talking about a collector of Victorian.
Dr. Lecter.
Yeah. All right. So
your pantyhose.
Oh my god.
Is that in it?
I
That's something
think
different.
we may have touched on that.
Okay.
Anyways, it's so wonderful to
So
see
good to
both
see
of your
you.
faces, and
Wonderful to see you.
we're glad that we're all back.
Okay.
Yes, Grady. Excuse me. So what did we learn? Well, I think we learned that we all have intuition and that it's probably better than we think it is. I think we learned that premonitions can be tainted by our desire to want things to happen, our desire to daydream. So let's follow our intuition and forget about our premonitions. We don't need the supernatural in our lives. Just follow your gut. Thank you for listening to the Last Will podcast. If you like what you heard, please rate, review, and subscribe. It's very helpful to us. If you want to reach us, we can be reached at the Last Will podcast on Instagram. You can just slide into our DMs. New episodes come out on Wednesdays. Till then, onward, forward.